Why can't the Buffalo Bills win the big game? Or more recently, get to the big game? I'm going to do a deep dive into what's stopping Buffalo from becoming Super Bowl champions. Let's find out together. Like and subscribe, because if I hit 1,000 subs by the Super Bowl, I'm giving away an NFL jersey of choice to one lucky subscriber. And now, let's get into it. Now, on the surface, the Bills have had back-to-back incredibly successful seasons. In 2020, they were second in scoring and yards on offense with a middle-of-the-pack defense. In 2021, they were third in points scored and fifth in yards on offense, and first in points allowed and yards allowed. This season, they once again finished second in scoring and yards and had another strong showing on defense, finishing second in points allowed and sixth in yards allowed. This was good enough for 13, 11, and 13 wins across those three regular seasons. The saying usually goes, offense can win in the regular season, but defense wins championships. Well, in the regular season at least, they had a top 2 defense each of the last 2 years. Their opponent's points per game during the season was 19.1 this season and 18.3 in 2021. That is insane in the current offensive landscape of the NFL, where 21 teams are averaging 20 points or more per game. So what's their average points per game allowed during the playoffs? This postseason, they allowed 29 points per game across the 2 games. In 2021, 29.5 points per game. That's 10 points more than their average during the regular season. I understand that part of this is that they are playing the best teams in the league and can't pad their stats, but why is it that during the regular season in 2021 when they played the Chiefs, the Bills won and only gave up 20 points? Then this season, they played the Chiefs again and won, only allowing 20 points again. The Chiefs scored 42 on them in 2021. They played the Dolphins twice in the regular season, allowing an average of 25 points in the 2 matchups. And in the playoffs this season, they allowed 31 points to them with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. There's a clear discrepancy in the results the defense is getting in the regular season versus the postseason. Is this because the other teams have more film and are out-coaching the Bills? Leslie Frazier is a well-respected defensive coordinator and former head coach in the NFL. I believe he's got the best out of his team over the last few years, and I don't know that I can blame him 100%. But clearly the safeties coach, Jim Salgado, was blamed partially as he was just let go. So, we've established that the defense hasn't helped the Bills in totality, but I want to look at the specific games that they lost. Let's look at some key metrics that can predict the winner of games. Time of possession, turnover battle, and third down conversion percentage. After that, I'll dive deeper on each game and give my reasoning for that loss. So starting in 2020, where the Bills lost in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs won time of possession 31 minutes and 9 seconds to 28 minutes and 51 seconds. Not a huge margin, but slight edge to Kansas City. The turnover battle was tied with 1 turnover each. Both turnovers turned into touchdowns for the other team, so call it a tie. Lastly, third down completion percentage for Buffalo was 35%, while KC was at 60%. Huge advantage to the Chiefs. To compare that to the Bills' 2020 opponent third down completion percentage, they were allowing only 41%. But it's not all on the defense. During the regular season in 2020, they were converting third downs at 50%, which was first in the league. Huge drop-off on both sides of the ball in this one. Let's move into 2021 and yet another loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. This one was the overtime game that saw a rule change for the 2022 playoffs because the Bills never got to touch the ball in OT. So time of possession, and this one is a bit more skewed because of overtime, but it was 36 minutes and 38 seconds for the Chiefs to 27 minutes 37 seconds for the Bills. So in regulation, that means the Chiefs had the ball for 32 minutes and 23 seconds. Worse than last year, but I'd argue not enough to give the game away. Next, the turnover battle was tied because neither team turned it over. And lastly, third down conversions. Bills at 42% and the Chiefs at a whopping 61%. The Bills could not get the Chiefs off the field. The Chiefs only had to punt 2 times. Third down defense hurts the Bills again in this game. Buffalo had been number 1 in the league that season, holding opponents to 33% third down conversion rate. A large drop-off against the Chiefs, even compared to the regular season matchup that year where Buffalo held KC to 41%. Playoff defensive play calling appears to be a theme. Finally, to this season and their loss to the Bengals. Time of possession was the most skewed it's been at 33 minutes and 54 seconds for the Bengals to 26 minutes and 6 seconds for the Bills. That's because the Bengals rushed for 172 yards compared to the Bills' 64. This is the first game that they've also lost the turnover battle 1-0. You could argue that this interception didn't do anything to affect the outcome of the game because it occurred with less than 2 minutes left with the Bills down 3 scores. So lastly, the third down conversion rate. 41% for Buffalo and 60% for the Bengals. You just can't win many games when giving up 60% on third down conversions. As a matter of fact, in every one of their playoff game wins over the last 3 seasons, they held their opponents below 60%. Even against the Dolphins this year when they gave up 31 points, they held them to 25% on third downs. So I'm staking my claim here. that third down defensive play calls for the Buffalo Bills are why they haven't been able to get to the Super Bowl. That starts and ends with the defensive coordinator, so maybe I am blaming him 100%. You can have the number one defense every single regular season if you want, but you've got to get the other team off the field when they get to third down. What do you think is the reason for their lack of postseason championship success? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I'll see y'all next time.